Hello YouTube, Heartless Angel here, back with another Pokemon ORAS Wi-Fi battle. Now today I am bringing you an NU match against Ataraxic, I believe that's how it's pronounced. I'm not 100% sure, so forgive me. But we do have an NU match, and I have found that I really enjoy NU, so this is a great battle that I'm bringing you. So he starts out with his Dodrio, as I start out with Mystic the Uxie, and this is a lead Uxie with Stealth Rocks and Thunder Wave and whatnot. He does go for the Pursuit, predicting me to switch out, as I go for the Thunder Wave, just in case this Dodrio is Scarfed or Banded. I'm not sure which one. I know that one of the two is typically what Dodrio runs, so I just wanted to slow this thing down so it wouldn't cause too many issues later on. So he does decide to withdraw and go into his Lantern, as I decided to set up the Stealth Rocks. Even though he doesn't have anything particularly too weak to Stealth Rocks besides Dodrio, residual damage is always nice. So after I get over my Leftovers recovery, I decide to go for the U-turn and switch out of here. Simply because I didn't want to get a burn from a Scald, possibly, simply because this is a defensive Pokemon. Even though there's no physical investment whatsoever, residual damage is never fun, and I decided to go into Rod and Meet the Vileplume as he goes for the Discharge. Now, Rod and Meet is a physical wall, so the Discharge does really not a lot at all, which is always nice to see. That's one of the reasons why I did switch into Vileplume, was simply because it does resist both of the stab. So he does decide to go for the Volt Switch here, as I believe I went for a Giga Drain. He did get a crit, although it didn't really matter all too much. I did go for a Giga Drain, knowing that it was my best bet against the Lantern. He does, however, switch out into his Dodrio, and after the Stealth Rocks, and the Giga Drain does a surprising amount, and from this range, I know, seeing how much Giga Drain did, that I can definitely take this thing out with a Sledge Bomb, and the fact that I'm faster than it now because of the paralysis makes me 100% confident to go for said Sledge Bomb. So the Sledge Bomb does hit, and the Dodrio does go down, which is great because no matter what that thing was running, it was definitely a threat. Dodrio is quite fast. He does come into the Wigglytuff here, and I honestly was not sure why he would do that when he sees I have the Sledge Bomb. He was actually doubling out, though, into the Steelix, predicting me to go for the Sledge Bomb. He baited the Sledge Bomb out, and he baited it out correctly because I do go for the Sledge Bomb, allowing his Steelix a free switch-in. I do decide to switch out, not wanting to go for the Giga Drain quite just yet. I wanted to get some time to set up with Lake Placid, the Feraligatr here, as he does go for the Mega Evolution, revealing he is Mega Steelix. And Mega Steelix, I really like the design of this thing. He does go for Stealth Rocks of his own, which is no problem because I can set up Swords Dance next turn, which I end up doing. However, he predicted the setup, either the Dragon Dance or the Swords Dance, and goes for the Roar, which puts all that Swords work to shame and brings out actually my Cryogonal, which is great, simply because I wanted to get some my rapid, because Cryogonal is my rapid spinner, so I wanted to get those rocks that he set up away. I did know that I would not be able to take any hit from the Steelix, but with the Dodrio gone, Cryogonal really wasn't needed all too much, so I do get the rapid spin off as he goes for the Gyro Ball. Cryogonal does, as I expected, go down. Now, surprisingly, Cryogonal is quite fast, surprisingly, for a Snowflake, and so the Gyro Ball really did a massive amount. I do decide to go into Nala the Pyroar, simply because I know I can probably threaten the Steelix out, which I do. I do believe I went for the safe Fire Blast here, as he switches out into his Lantern. It does take the Fire Blast quite well, considering that it is part water type, so it does take the Fire Blast, and I don't want to stay in. I do run Hyper Voice, obviously, and this is a Life Orb set, but I don't want to risk the Hyper Voice not killing and losing Nala, so I do decide to switch out here on the predicted Scald and go right back into Vileplume, knowing that, again, Vileplume can take anything this Lantern throws at me. He, however, predicts the Vileplume switch and goes for the Ice Beam, which was a great move on his part, and it does do quite a decent amount of damage. to Vileplume. But instead of switching out, even though I can see he is running the Ice Beam, I do decide to stay in and just go for a Giga Drain as he goes for his second Ice Beam. He does outspeed me, and the Ice Beam does do quite a good amount, but after a Giga Drain, it will take out the Lantern, and I will get a lot of that HP back. I don't know if the crit mattered here or not, simply because it was a super effective hit. But you never, I mean, if it did, then it probably wouldn't have mattered all that much, simply because of the fact that, you know, Lantern, I could have easily taken another Ice Beam after the health I got back. He does come into his Crustle here as he goes for the Shell Smash. I don't know why he honestly went for the Shell Smash. He probably expected a switch out, but I do just go for the neutral Giga Drain here, which surprisingly enough does not kill even after the -1 on his special defense. He lives with 1 HP, which is I must have got a low draw there. He does go for the X Scissor, the neutral X Scissor, and I do take that quite well. And not that it mattered, I did get the, actually, it did matter, for the Effect Spore to get off, and he got paralyzed, as I was able to outspeed him now and just finish him off with with another Giga Drain. If I hadn't got the paralysis off from the Effect Spore, then Rotten Meat may have definitely gone down to another X Scissor. So that paralysis did matter. He does come back into his Steelix here, as I decide to stay in and just go for a Giga Drain here, seeing how much that does and see if I can get any of my health back up. It does do an okay amount, not as much as I thought it would, considering that Steelix's special defense isn't the best. He does set up his rocks again here, and I decide not to really test my luck anymore. I think I go for one more Giga Drain just to get as much damage off as I can before I decide to switch out and get some more of my HP back. I believe he does go for a Roar here, though. No, he goes for Earthquake. And as I am physically defensive, I do take that fairly well, and after the Black Sledge, I'm at a decent amount. And not wanting to take another Earthquake, I do decide to switch out and not want to test my luck anymore, and decide to go into Salem the Mismagius. However, he did go for the Roar here. I'm not sure if he predicted another switch out, or if he just wanted to get that Vileplume out of there, but he does force Nala to come back in, which is fine by me, because I can, from this range, I am very, very certain that a Fire Blast will kill. So I do decide to go for the Fire Blast, and his Lantern is no longer in play, so there's really no risk of, nothing really wants to take this Fire Blast. So it does hit, and the Steelix does fall, which is great. A huge defensive juggernaut gone from my opponent's team. He does bring in the Wigglytuff here, and this Wigglytuff, really, it was okay. I mean, I do go for the Hyper Voice over the Fire Blast simply because, honestly, I'm not sure why I went for the Hyper Voice over the Fire Blast here. I just didn't want to risk the Fire Blast missing, I suppose. He does go for the Hyper Voice, and it does kill Nala, unfortunately. But seeing that, I just decided to go into Salem, and actually, funny thing here is, I go for the Energy Ball, but she is supposed to be running the Dazzling Gleam. I don't know if that made a difference, but he does survive the Energy Ball and goes for a Dazzling Gleam on Salem. Salem does survive and gets another Energy Ball off, and Salem will have the proper moveset for the next battle, I can assure you. So Wigglytuff goes down, leaving me in a pretty good position as he comes into his last Pokemon, Barbara the Gourgeist. And this Gourgeist is really the only thing that caused me a lot of trouble right at the end. It does go for the Shadow Sneak, taking out Salem, which is fine. Salem's done her job. Took out the Wigglytuff, which was great. He does reveal that he is leftovers, and not wanting to get anything seeded or put to sleep or anything like that. I'm not sure if Gourgeist gets sleep powder. I don't think it does, but not wanting to get seeded, I decided to come out into Vileplume, and pretty much this is just a exchange of Will-O-Wisp, Sludge Bomb, Synthesis, Pain Split, because as he goes for the Will-O-Wisp, I do go for the Synthesis. So essentially, it is just us, this whole little thing is just us going back and forth, getting our recovery items back up. However, after a few Sludge Bombs, the Gourgeist will fall, and that will be game. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you ever want to get the chance to battle me one of these days, be sure to follow me on Twitter. I will leave my Twitter link in the description below. Until next time, guys, this is Heartless Angel, signing off.